Cartoon. Who doesn't love cartoons? This type of artwork is easy to find in various media, from newspapers, magazines to television. Can be interpreted as a parody of images, jokes, or satire in the depiction of social and political events. Magazines such as Punch and The New Yorker popularized cartoons in their publications, which proved to have a profound effect on society. The word cartoon is believed to have come from the Italian word cartoni, which means large paper. Cartoons were first used in the 16th century for fresco painting, a technique that involves applying pigment to plaster walls made of wood chalk, images that have been painted on paper. Cartoons were first used in the 16th century for fresco painting, a technique that involves applying pigment to plaster walls made of wood chalk, images that have been painted on paper, then transferred to the plaster wall with a certain technique. Cartoons in movies referred to in animated television and films, including short films. Cartoons are also synonymous with viewing for young children, which contain adventure stories, superheroes, and fables. In Indonesia, cartoons are also used to tell the legend of a certain area character, for example, the Timon Muz cartoon. The use of cartoons in motion pictures only began in the late 19th century. The praxinoscope, the most ancient means of playing animation, was invented in 1877 by a French scientist, Charles-Émile Reynaud. He is also known as the world's first cartoonist in the history of moving images. Initially, cartoons used the stop-motion technique. The stripe image is printed onto the film, which is then projected per frame onto the wall at 24 frames per second. This technique took a very long time because the cartoonists had to first draw the scenes one by one. Winsor McCay, the father of world cartoons, took more than a year to make a cartoon that lasted no more than 5 minutes. The development of cartoons in films has advanced since the discovery of computer-generated imagery (CGI) technology. Toy Story 1995 was the first cartoon film to apply CGI technology in its production. Now, cartoon films are one of the most popular film categories in the world. Although identified with spectacle for children, cartoons can be spectacled for all ages. This series of cartoons is considered the oldest cartoon in the world, according to the site oldest.org. Steamboat Willie. Steamboat Willie released November 18, 1928. Creators, Walt Disney and Ub Iwerks. Animation by Les Clark, Ub Iwerks and Wilfred Jackson. Country, Houston. Duration, 7 minutes 42 seconds. This cartoon is the most iconic on Steamboat Willie. Mickey and Minnie Mouse first made their big screen debut. It was also Disney's first sound cartoon, and the first cartoon to release a soundtrack in post-production. The release of the Steamboat Willie cartoon film preceded the two Mickey Mouse films, which at that time were in the middle of a dip. Trolley Trouble's release date, September 5, 1927. Creators, Walt Disney, Charles Mintz, and George Winkler. Animation by Ub Iwerks, Hugh Harman, Les Clark, Friz Freleng, Ben Clopton, Norm Blackburn, and Roland Hamilton. Country, Houston. Duration, 5 minutes 46 seconds. In this animated short film, Disney first featured the character Oswald. This Lucky Bunny figure is the inspiration for the creation of Mickey Mouse. Disney cooperates with Universal Pictures, one of the well-known film production studios to this day. The Adventures of Prince Ahmed. Release date, February 1926. Creator, Lot Reiniger. Animation by Walter Ruckman, Bertold Bartosch, and Karl Koch, Germany. Time duration, 65 minutes. The film, whose original title is Die Abenteuer der Prinzen Ahmed, can be said to be the oldest animated feature film that still exists today. Although two animated films made by Quirino Christiani had appeared before. Both films were destroyed and are considered lost. In this film, Reiniger presents silhouette technique animation. Reiniger took 3 years to finish making this film. The story in this film is adapted from a true story in the story of Prince Ahmed and the fairy Parabanu. The classic story 1001 Nights is also one of the inspirations for several elements in this film. Alice's Wonderland release date, 1993 creator, Walt Disney. Animation by Hugh Harman, Rudolph Isaac, Iwerks, and Carmen Maxwell, country, US. Time duration, 12 minutes 29 seconds. Alice's Wonderland. Unlike Alice in Wonderland was Walt Disney's first animated short film. It is also the first film in the Alice Comedies series. Since its initial release, Alice's Wonderland has never been shown in theaters. The film was released as a bonus in the unanniversary special edition of Alice in Wonderland. However, viewers can watch the film on the film's page on Wikipedia. Feline Follies release date, November 9, 1919. Creators, Pat Sullivan and Otto Mesmer. Country, duration time, 48 seconds. Fans of classic cartoons are certainly familiar with the figure of Felix. Feline Follies is the first film to present the most phenomenal cat figure in this silent film era. There has been a dispute over the creator of Felix's character. Even so, the two creators, Pat Sullivan and Otto Mesmer, were listed as the figures behind the creation of Felix's character. Mesmer is the main animator at Sullivan's studio, Paramount Pictures. In his studio, Sullivan produced 25 cartoons featuring the character Felix from 1919 to 1921. At the beginning of his appearance, Felix was named as Master Tom. This name appeared in her first two films, Feline Follies and The Musical Muse. Gertie the Dinosaur. Release date, February 8, 1914. Creator, Winsor McCay. Country, Houston. Duration, 12 minutes. This film is a trademark created by the father of world cartoons, Winsor McCay. This film is also the first film to use keyframes, paper tracing, and loop techniques in animation. This film was also the first film to use the mutoscope display device, one of the first types of projectors during the early days of motion pictures. Gertie the Dinosaur is the most important film in the history of world animated films. McCay's masterpiece inspired the next generation of animators such as Walt Disney, Otto Mesmer, Paul Terry, and the Fleischer Brothers. How a Mosquito Operates. Release date, January 1912. Creator, Winsor McCay. Country, Houston. Duration, 6 minutes. This film is the second film made by Winsor McCay. After his first animated film, Little Nemo, achieved success, McCay developed his animation techniques and focused more on making animation. This man, who was born in 1867, spent a lot of time exploring the story and characters more than his first film. The results of his hard work paid off. In How a Mosquito Works, McCay succeeded in popularizing the technique of line-drawn animation. Unlike the previous films, How a Mosquito Works minimizes the background. McCay emphasized character activity in storytelling, a technique commonly used to show dialogue in silent films. Little Nemo. Release date, April 8, 1911. Creator, Winsor McCay. Country, Houston. Duration, 11 minutes 33 seconds. Little Nemo is the earliest example of a detailed hand-drawn technique. This technique is common in modern cartoons. McCay's first animated film was also featured in a comic book titled Little Nemo in Slumberland. The appearance in this film shows McCay's dexterity, which is capable of making 4,000 images. The appearance of Little Nemo received a positive response from the post-serial community in 1911. McCay sketched the film in black and white. However, McCay turned it into a color image for later release on the big screen. Phantasmagoria. Release date, August 17, 1908. Creator, Emile Cole. Frankenstein. Duration, 1 minute 20 seconds. This short animation made by Emile Cole is recorded as the earliest traditional animation ever made. The film features stickman figures and several other objects such as wine bottles, flowers, elephants, and horses that are continuous. Emile Cole didn't stop at Phantasmagorie. Two other films, Le Cauchemar du Fantoche, The Doll's Nightmare, and Un Drame Chez Les Fantoches Love Drama in the Toy World, were released later by Cole. Unfortunately, the archives of Cole's second film, Le Cauchemar du Fantoche, were declared lost. There are lots of fun and educational children's cartoons that you can watch, especially now that there are lots of streaming services that provide various exciting and funny cartoon movie titles. This children's cartoon can be entertaining, educational, and contains a deep moral message. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.